YouTube, Vinyl community, Beach Boys fans, random people on the internet, my name is Giggens, and we're here today to talk about an album I didn't think I'd review for a very long time, The Beach Boys, Stars and Stripes Volume 1. This is an album I remember coming out in the 90s when I was a kid, and I never had it at that time, but I remember seeing it in magazines, and I remember seeing a commercial for it, I think, and they were on TV a couple of times. Well, they were always on TV in the 90s, but I remember them promoting this pretty well back in the day. And I was always wondering what the cover was. Like, the cover always kind of struck me. I can't tell if it's like the side of a boat or something. I don't know what it is. But anyways, this was the Beach Boys' foray into country music. For the most part, there's country music on this thing. And it's bittersweet because it acts as the last album that was out while Carl was still alive. And their vocals on here are outstanding. And they really are fantastic. As far as blending with country, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Some of this album isn't even country at all. It's a very mixed bag of ideas. And it just kind of struck me to watch it. I watched that documentary that came out about it called The Beach Boys in Nashville, or Nashville Sounds rather, and that was really fun to watch because I haven't seen it in such a long time, and seeing the guys together, it just had this like coming together again to make modern music feel. And at the time, and today as well, country music is so popular, and it was back then too, but at that time, country music was becoming way more pop-ified, if you will. And so they got kind of some up-and-coming people, some people who had been around for a while, some favorites, and put out this album. And it's also sad because right after the restraining order got filed against Landy, so he couldn't be anywhere near Brian, Brian called up Andy Paley, and they got right to work in the studio on new tracks meant for a new Beach Boys album. Brian was so stoked to write some music for the Beach Boys and have them come in, and they recorded a handful of songs. Like She's Still a Mystery to Me is one of the, is that what it's called? Okay, or is it the Lemon Spoonful song? They had a couple of songs that were finished, and a couple have come out on different things here and there since then, like the Man in California box set. But nothing ever materialized, and so they've got this wealth of stuff sitting there, possibly with all the Beach Boys singing on it, and who knows if we'll ever hear it. That album never materialized and never came to be. For some reason, this country concept came up. No one knows if it was Mike who thought of it or who came up with this idea, but it happened. So it was recorded throughout October of 95, well into June of 96, and it came out in August of 96. It hit the US number 101, so it did not chart very well. It did better on the country charts with number 12, so that's pretty good. And I Can Hear Music came out as a single, hit number 16 on the US Adult Contemporary, so that's pretty solid. But it was produced by Joe Thomas and Brian Wilson, and executive produced by Mike. But man, what an interesting album. So it opens up with Don't Worry Baby, with Lori Morgan singing away on it, and she does a really great job. Her voice is fantastic. She's got this rich, lush voice, and her country-tinged articulation definitely lends well to expressing that country vibe. So even though the song itself musically doesn't sound very country, her vocals on top of it kind of transform it, and of course the production too definitely helps. But my only gripe with it, if it can be a gripe, is changing the words around. I get it, they changed it to match the gender, but like, it just kind of kills the steam a little bit for me. I get it. I mean, it works, I guess, but for me, it's okay. But I like her voice. Little Deuce Coupe with someone named James House. This one's cool to hear a slightly different arrangement on this one, so like it doesn't start up the way the normal song does. And he definitely makes it sound like 90s country. I mean, definitely mission accomplished on that one. 409 with Junior Brown. Cool guitar work here, fun arrangement. It's okay, not my favorite thing in the world. Long Tall Texan, again, we're speeding along here. Long Tall Texan with Doug Supernaw. This one's pretty fun. It's actually one of my favorites on the album. It bops along pretty well. Good fiddle, I like the acoustic against the electric kind of feel. And his voice is pretty solid. It's a goofy song anyway, and it sounds country because it's kind of a country song anyway, so it works. Meant to be on here. I Get Around with Sawyer Brown. The Beach Boys harmonies on this one are fantastic. Hearing them with their mature voices do the harmonies really works well. and then Matt Jardine also with them doing the higher parts. Cool version of the song. Nice to hear Sawyer Brown, do blend their vocals and instruments to it. Interesting take. Be True to Your School has Toby Keith on it. It's okay. It's all right. I wish I had more to say on these songs, but there's not much to say. They're covering themselves, other people singing on top, and what do you want? Fun, Fun, Fun has Ricky Van Shelton here, and there's not much of a change here. This one basically sounds kind of like the normal song. Help Me Rhonda, this one's not bad. There's more of a country feel on this one. Some decent honky-tonk pianos, nice rolling guitar, and really decent lead vocal. I mean, it's really not a bad track. It's pretty upbeat, so this one is kind of a standout. And then the one everyone pegs is the best song on the album, which I agree is one of them, The Warmth of the Sun with Willie Nelson singing it. He nails it. He absolutely nails it. His voice, his articulation, his emotion, and the life experience he puts into the words, it really works. He just makes it work. It's so fun to listen to, and his calmness and his delivery is so poignant, and it benefits the song, and it takes it to a different place where it sounds like, okay, this is something that I can listen to as a different version. I get this. This one works. It's just wonderful. It's one of the best on the album. Sloop John B. Not sure why this one's on here, to be honest with you. I got nothing country out of this one. It's okay. It plods along pretty well. I Can Hear Music with Kathy Tricoli. Very well sung. Her version is fantastic. Again, nothing country here on this one either, but it's just a really nice version of this song. And I really enjoyed it. I'm glad this was a single. It's a good choice for a single because it's a great song anyway. And, the original one had a female lead vocalist anyway, so it's kind of good to have both versions there with the Beach Boys on it too. And then Caroline No with Timothy B. Schmidt of the Eagles and a bunch of other stuff. Nothing country here either, but it really works. His voice is awesome on this track. And I love the new harmony arrangements the guys came up with at the end, kind of blend more to fill out the song a little bit. And they kind of do the early 70s live version where they extend it a little bit, which works really well. I was hoping, because I haven't heard this thing in a long time, so when it came on again, I was hoping they would do that, and I was really surprised that they did. Overall, it's really not my favorite album by the guys, and like I said, I didn't think I was going to talk about this thing for a long time because it's so low on my list of things that I want to review, but it just kind of happened, and that's how most of my reviews work anyway. They just happen. So I put it on, I got lost with it again, and it's a fine listen. There's nothing offensive about it at all. It's a good listen. When you put the whole thing on, just kind of have it on in the background. It's fun. I don't think it was meant to, blow minds or break new ground. It's just kind of a nice album to have out. The thing is, though, half the album accomplishes the country feel, if that's what they were going for. Some of the songs do sound country, but a lot of them don't. The second half basically isn't country at all. Caroline No, I Can Hear Music, The Warmth of the Sun, well, More Than the Sun, I guess, because of Willie Nelson, but Help Me Rhonda, Fun, Fun, Fun. Like, a good chunk of this album has nothing country on it whatsoever. It's just nice covers with the Beach Boys singing away on it. So my takeaway is this. I'm very happy that this album exists because you get to hear the mature Beach Boys vocals with just them doing the harmonies. And that's why God Made the Radio. There's other people there singing away with them. It just kind of kills the Beach Boys vibe because it's not really them. This is them, and there's videos to show that they were doing it. In the studio, just the 4 or 5 of them, vocalizing away, and it sounds fantastic hearing their matured voices. Hearing an older Carl with an older Brian, and then Bruce and Al's voice never really changed, and then Mike doing his thing, it sounds so good. And so in a way, it's like a taste of what could have been for a new Beach Boys album at that time with Carl on it, to really showcase their growing voices and what could have been a really nice, mature, guys in their 50s album. We'll never have that, unfortunately. So for that sake, I'm happy this exists purely because of the harmonies that they create, sounding like the Beach Boys then, just as grown-ups, if you will. So here's the booklet with the CD. And the booklet's actually pretty impressive. It's a good sized book. It's got some weight to it. But lots of good pictures of the guys playing live when they played Fanfare '96. Is it Fanfare? Yeah, Fanfare '96 was a country festival. But it's got the whole story of making the album. Some great pictures. Brian with Joe Thomas. So they kind of highlighted every single artist along the way inside it. So I had a hard time rating it because it's really easy to dismiss this one purely because it's kind of superfluous. And the fact they called it Volume 1 with like these big intentions to do another one, just call it Stars and Stripes. If a second one pops up, call that one Volume 2. But the idea to go into something like, oh, we're going to make 2 of these, no, you're not. It didn't chart well, it didn't sell well. You have to remember at this time, too, in the 90s, the Beach Boys were definitely an oldies act. I remember a few of my friends got to see them around the time of this coming out. And, I just thought, how cool is that? You get to see the Beach Boys. But, yeah, good effort with everyone involved. It's well produced. It sounds good. The instrumentation on it is fantastic. Everyone's doing a top-notch job. There's nothing wrong about that. Even the songs that aren't country sound nice. They really do. It's a good album to have on in the background, but you're not missing anything, put it that way. I don't want to sound super negative about something, but sometimes it happens that way. And as far as rating this thing, I'm going to probably give it like a 5, because like a 5 out of 10. I'm just happy that we have a document of the real Beach Boys voices together in the 90s, physically released. It's worth it for that. If you ever had to pick this thing up just to hear what the Beach Boys sounded like with their own voices in the 90s, buy this album for that sake. So that's it. My name is Giggens. This has been the Beach Boys Stars and Stripes Volume 1. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this thing. I'm very curious to know. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.